18th of October 2023. Welcome to Somalia's premier #1 station for news and updates, Dalsan TV. I'm your presenter Abdurrahman Yusuf. Tonight we have a lot in store for you, but first have a look at some of our top stories. Prime Minister Barre engages leaders in Mogadishu to drive modernization efforts and foster economic development. President Mahmoud arrives in Baidoa to rally communities against Al-Shabaab. Senior Al-Shabaab operative surrenders to the government forces in central Somalia. Glad to have you back. Now let's delve into our full bulletin. The Prime Minister of Somalia, Hamza Abdi Barre, had a meeting with business leaders in Mogadishu. The meeting aimed to foster mutual cooperation between the public and private sectors and leverage the expertise and resources of the business communities to drive the country's development priorities. The Prime Minister of Somalia, Hamza Abdi Barre, held a meeting with business leaders in Mogadishu. The meeting aimed to foster mutual cooperation between the public and private sectors and leverage the expertise and resource of the business community to drive the country's development priorities. The Office of the Somali Premier highlighted the significance of creating a conducive environment for collaboration, emphasizing the importance of harmonizing economic growth with the nation's overall goals. During the meeting, Prime Minister Barre underscored the role that business leaders play in steering the transformation of Somalia. Their participation and contribution are crucial in advancing the government's agenda of modernization, stability, and prosperity. The Prime Minister expressed commitment to creating an enabling environment that facilitates collaboration between the public and private sectors, allowing for seamless coordination and alignment of efforts. By involving business leaders in governance process, the government aims to tap into their knowledge and experience, fostering a partnership that will drive transformative change. Somalia is emerging from years of conflict and instability. The engagement between the Prime Minister and business leaders signals a new era of collaboration and determination to build a prosperous Somalia. Somalia's President Hassan Sheikh Mohamud arrived in the town of Baidoa in the Bay region on Wednesday. The visit comes shortly after the Southwest Regional leader Abdulaziz Leftegaren declared an offensive against Al-Shabaab group. Somalia's President Hassan Sheikh Mohamud arrived in the town of Baidoa in the Bay region on Wednesday. The visit comes shortly after the Southwest Regional Abdulaziz Leftegaren declared an offensive against the Al-Shabaab group. President Mahmoud's office released a statement outlining his plans to travel to various districts in the region where he will engage with local communities and exhort them to mobilize against the Al-Qaeda-aligned affiliate. The decision to personally lead the campaign against Al-Shabaab underscores the gravity of the situation and the government's commitment to combating the Al-Shabaab group. According to the Office of the President, the head of the state presence in Baidoa serves as a rallying point, symbolizing the unity and determination of the Somali people and their leaders in the face of a common enemy. The visit is expected to galvanize local communities and encourage their active participation in the fight against terrorism. This move comes at a juncture as nearly 2-year-long offensive against the rebels in the central region of Galgaduud has countered significant obstacles. The offensive, which aims to weaken Al-Shabaab's grip on the area, has stalled, allowing the militants to regain control over most of the towns previously captured by the Somali army. The resurgence of Al-Shabaab poses a serious threat to the progress made in the region, undermining the efforts of the Somali government and its international partners to establish stability and security. The deteriorating security situation has also prompted authorities to request a 3-month delay in the scheduled withdrawal of 3,000 African peacekeepers. President Mahmoud's visit to Baidoa is a strategic move aimed at reversing the recent setbacks and revitalize the fight against Al-Shabaab. A senior operative of the group Al-Shabaab surrendered to the Somali security forces on Tuesday in central Somalia. The surrender comes as the Somali government continues its intensified operations against Al-Shabaab fighters aiming to restore peace and stability in the war-torn region. A senior operative of the Al-Shabaab group surrendered to the Somali security forces on Tuesday in central Somalia. The surrender comes as the Somali government continued its intensified operations against the Al-Shabaab fighters aiming to restore peace and stability in the war-torn nation. The Somali Defense Ministry and Somali security officials confirmed the surrender in a statement, expressing the government's willingness to welcome any member of the group who decides to defect and accept the amnesty offered by the government. The defector, identified as Mahad or Osman Sabriye, was a former high-ranking member of the Al-Shabaab. He voluntarily turned himself into the Somali National Army in the Galgaduud region, signaling a significant blow to the extremist organization. Sabriye's surrender is expected to provide valuable intelligence and insights to to inner workings of Al-Shabaab as he holds key positions within the group. Sabria's surrender is expected to provide valuable intelligence and insights to the inner workings of Al-Shabaab as he holds position within the group, overseeing operations in several areas including Al-Ga'ad district, Budbud, Aswain and Masagawa. This development follows closely on the heels of another outcome in the government's effort to counter the militant group. Just 3 months ago, Abdullahi Mohammed Nur, the director of the National Center for Preventing and Countering Violent Extremism, confirmed that 107 fighters had surrendered to the government between July and August in 4 states, Hirshabelle, Galmudug and Southwest and Jubaland states. Somalia has long been plagued by insecurity, with the militant group posing a grave threat to the peace and stability of the Horn of Africa country. Since 2007, Al-Shabaab has waged a deadly campaign against the Somali government, resulting in the loss of thousands of lives. The Somali government recognizes the SAC Khartoum as an autonomous interim administration ahead of its elevation to become the 6th federal member state. This follows a year-long fighting in the last anode, which is contested by the SAC and Somaliland. The federal government has since shored up support for SAC's self-determinant.
The Somali federal government has welcomed the recent political decision made by the SSC Khartoum traditional elders who have established the SSC Khartoum administration under the federal government of Somalia. Minister of Interior, Federal Affairs and Reconciliation Ahmed Muallim Fiqi told the local media in Mogadishu on Thursday about the federal government's commitment to collaborate with the newly elected authorities of the administration. The minister stressed that the federal government consistently participates in all endeavors to bring peace and stability to the Sol, Sanag and Ain areas collectively known as SSC Khartoum. He commended the SSC for their willingness to embrace a ceasefire and promote peaceful coexistence. Minister Fiqi also underlined the federal government's immediate commitment to enhancing essential social services in SSC areas, including education, healthcare and water supply, and addressing general humanitarian concerns. The federal government has called government agencies, the Somali community and the international community to provide humanitarian assistance to this region promptly. In February of this year, traditional elders and leaders from the SSC Khartoum announced that the SSC areas would not be part of Somaliland or Puntland. Instead, they pledged their allegiance to the federal government of Somalia until the complete federalization of Somali territory is achieved.
Lovely viewers, that's all we have prepared for you tonight from our desk in Mogadishu. I wish to thank all those who made this bulletin a success. And you, our lovely viewer, wherever you're watching us from, have yourselves a lovely night and blessings galore.